Djokovic has won. The court has ordered decisions to cancel visa be quashed. Respondent, the Home Affairs Minister, to pay the costs. Djokovic is also to be released within 30 minutes of the court order being made and with his passport and all personal items to be returned. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as of now, Novak Djokovic is free. He won his court battle against the Home Affairs Minister in the federal court in Victoria. The judge presiding over this case, Judge Kelly, we're going to go through what he said, but basically he said what you did to him with this delegate was unfair, and we're quashing that ruling that the delegate made, and you should give him all his possessions back now, and you should free him within 30 minutes of the decision that was made. Now, there are a lot of issues today with the broadcasting of the court hearing because someone hacked the account first and then started playing some inappropriate videos on it. And then the second upload link that they had was constantly crashing because of overuse. We've got a lot of articles and tweets to go through just to take you through how this all went down. So let's take a look at basically how this went down and what I saw could be the direction that this case was going in. First off, my tweet, when I was listening to this live, I heard Judge Kelly say, what more could this man have done? Because Novak's lawyers were talking about he's done all the relevant things. He's given all his information. He's given all the paperwork that he could. He's followed all the steps that the government laid out for him and Tennis Australia. And he also, as you've seen in my previous videos, he followed the guidelines given by the ATAGI, the Technical Advisory on Immunisation, that laid out the guidelines that said if he has COVID in the past 6 months, he's eligible for an exemption. And then there's also the two medical panels, independent medical review panels, one from Tennis Australia, one from the Victorian state government. And then we've had that whole intermingling of finger pointing between the federal government is the one that approves visas because it's the Home Affairs Minister, and then you got the Immigration Minister. Also, Scott Morrison actually said himself just, I think it was a few days ago, that this is up to the Victorian government and the state government because he's going into Victoria and it's a state issue. So you got the Prime Minister saying it's a state issue, the Victorian state MPs saying it's a federal issue, they don't issue visas, and then you had a delegate from the federal government, the Home Affairs Minister, saying we'll give you time until 8:30 in the morning to get all your affairs sorted and answer these questions about your documentation, but we're going to cut you off at 7:42 and not give you any more time and then take you straight to the detention hotel where he was staying until he has just been released as of now. This is what was said first. What more could this man have done? That's what the judge said, and that's what triggered me to think, okay, this is going in Djokovic's way. Let's take a look at Tracy Holmes, who's like a well-known reporter over here in Australia. Let's take it from the top from 6 hours ago. Judge Kelly said in federal court, it's an aspect of some agitation that Djokovic provided everything he was asked for. What more could he have done? And that's what I said. What more could he have done? That's what I quoted. In the transcript of the interview with Djokovic and Border Force delegate, he stresses he is sorry if he got anything wrong. So you've got remorse from Djokovic saying, I thought I was doing the right thing. And obviously, I've got here and you're telling me I haven't. So I'm really sorry. He would not have come to Australia if he thought anything was not in order. Continuously stressed, he was utterly confused and didn't know which error it was. Because that's it. He's filled out all the paperwork that he's been told from Tennis Australia and approved from the Victorian government. And then he's also had apparently a letter from the Home Affairs Minister saying you have an exemption to come in. But then he gets to the Border Force and they say, no. Clearly, he didn't think he was doing anything wrong. And that's what was heard today in court. And then the live streams crashed. That's what happened today. And this is what a lot of people were seeing. You can't view it right now as exceeded the maximum number of viewers. The concept of medical contraindication as a reason for not getting vaccinated is still being discussed, and various websites, regulations, and recommendations. So that was the whole issue. Does having COVID in the past 6 months count as a medical contraindication? The government said no, the federal government said no, but the ATAGI guidelines said yes. So that's what they were discussing. The doctors can use the form on the Australian Immunisation Register to register medical contraindication. Guidelines for medical exemptions shows a valid medical contraindication is ATAGI's reference to those who have tested positive. Exactly, right there. That's what I just said. And then they also say ATAGI guidelines say for a positive PCR test, there can be a 6-month window before vaccination is taken. This was all what was going on in the court. So everything I've been covering before, from the legal documents that came out and the letters from the government, it's all saying the same thing. And here it is. The medical justification is that any vaccination carries some risk, hence advice for delay. Not saying how high or low the risk may be, but that is irrelevant as there is some risk at least. So it's saying right there, in a federal court in Australia, any vaccination carries some risk. Djokovic's lawyer continues, the ATAGI recognizes in some European countries, which we've spoken about, having had COVID provides natural immunity for at least 6 months. There's the natural immunity clause that everyone was talking about, saying it exists and it should be put in place here because he just had it on December 16th. Djokovic's lawyer also says, with all documentation and guidelines considered, there was jurisdictional error in finding that a recent COVID infection was not a contraindication. And then the legal counsel for the federal government says, bizarrely, what she says, the weight of evidence as measured by the delegate interviewing at the airport suggests the visa should be cancelled. So they're trying to still weigh on the delegates' words. But we'll find out that eventually got thrown out. Djokovic pleads not to cancel visa because implications are he could be banned from coming back to Australia for up to 3 years. And then they're going through the transcripts of what happened and the tapes of what happened when he was in the airport, where they were supposed to address him up till 8:30 in the morning. There was an injunction granted that he could stay until 4 p.m. today, and it's now after 6. And then they granted a further one to say it's till 8 p.m. so we can get this trial out of the way. Djokovic's transcript said he was pressured. That's what I said in my last video. He was strong-armed into answering these questions without legal counsel because they wanted him to answer by 8:30 when they said at 7:40 something in the morning, we're going to stop the interview. Counsel says it should be considered that he felt pressured, not that he was pressured, but he felt pressured. So the court actually ordered Djokovic to be taken to a venue to listen and watch the hearing for however long it took and be offered safe return to the detention upon completion. The court ordered that. So get him out of his detention hotel and then let him watch the hearing. And then just an hour ago, she tweeted, Djokovic has won. The court has ordered decisions to cancel visa be quashed. Respondent, the Home Affairs Minister, to pay the costs. Djokovic is also to be released within 30 minutes of the court order being made and with his passport and all personal items to be returned. That was 1 hour ago when the court said that he should be released and given all his personal items back. And that needed to happen within the 30 minutes of that decision being handed down. So that has happened. Here's where it gets interesting, because the counsel for the Home Affairs Minister says he has instruction from the Minister for Immigration that he may exercise right to cancel visa on other grounds. So the Minister for Immigration, the honorary Alex Hawke, this guy, why can't they do a better Photoshop job of that? Jeez. So this person, Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, apparently now they say he instructed the Home Affairs that he may exercise the right to cancel Djokovic's visa on other grounds. So even after they lose this hearing, they're still going to try and get him for other things. Judge Kelly then reminds the counsel for the Home Affairs that stakes have now risen, not receded with revelation of possibility of another cancellation. Costs to Djokovic would include personal, professional costs and inability for him to return to Australia for a number of years. That's up to 3 years. And that's an image of a bunch of the press at the detention hotel where Djokovic may have been leaving after that case had been heard and the decision was made that he should be released. Breaking news article from Sky News, just to wrap it up. Novak Djokovic latest, tennis star to be released after winning immigration case, decision to revoke visa unreasonable. And this is what I said in one of my previous videos, this is a shambles what's been going on between the state, federal governments and Tennis Australia and all these medical boards and how they're handling this case between the Australian Border Force and everything that's been happening. Now here's the update that they released. Djokovic released from detention. In a court hearing less than an hour ago, Judge Anthony Kelly confirmed the decision to quash the cancellation of Novak Djokovic's visa ahead of the Australian Open. He said that Djokovic would be released from detention in 30 minutes after the decision. Judge Anthony Kelly quashed the cancellation of Djokovic's visa ahead of the Australian Open, and that was the cancellation that was made by the delegate while he was at the airport being detained. The court also heard that Djokovic was not given enough time after he was told his visa would likely be cancelled to speak to his agent or legal team. That's the 8:30 cutoff, but they stopped it at 7:42. And then they said, we're going to take him straight to the detention hotel. However, Australia's Immigration Minister, Alex Hawke, is now considering whether to exercise a personal power of cancellation. Talk about overreach. The government's just been shown up in this court case and their treatment of Djokovic was completely wrong. Now they're trying to use some executive personal power because he's the immigration minister. Now he said if this decision is made, the matter will likely be back in court as Djokovic faces being banned from entering Australia for up to 3 years. And now Djokovic is free to roam around the city of Melbourne to train for the Australian Open, and he's also free to compete in the Australian Open as of now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video out there, and I'll see you in the next one.